Then I start in the problem that tries to basically recap the whole thing. It's essentially two problems in one. Let's start from the first one. Well, if you have the coordinates of two vectors, how do you find the angle between them? We use the dot product, okay? So basically now we know that the dot product between f1 and f2 can be calculated as the product between the coefficients all added together. So if you put this into the calculator, sorry, I'm going to my notes. I have it somewhere. You should get 102. So this is the dot product between f1 and f2. But we also know that the dot product can be calculated, and this is when the angle pops up so that we can solve for the angle, if we know the length of the two vectors. How we calculate the length of the two vectors is basically the Pythagorean theorem of their coordinates. Okay, so if you punch this into the calculator, you should get something like 8.77. This is the three coordinates of f1, all squared and added together, and then we do the same for f2. This is 4 squared plus 10 squared plus 7 squared. And if you calculate this, you should get 12.8. And so now we know that this is equal to f1, f2 cosine of theta, which basically now we can rewrite as the cosine of theta is equal to 102 divided by the length of f1, which is 8.77, times the length of f2, which is 12.8. And so we have that the cosine of theta is 0.905. And so theta is the arccosine of 0.905, which you can do with the calculator. And if you set your calculator in degrees, you will get 25.2 degrees. Any questions on this procedure? So now what's the projection of f1 on f2? That's basically the length of f1 times the cosine of theta. Now the length of f1 we have it, the cosine of theta we have it. So then you can do this multiplication and you should get 7.9. Another way is to start from the dot product. So f1, this is also equal to f1 dot f2. Sorry, let's remove this. Divided by what? By the length of f2, right? It's basically this here divided by the length of f2. So another way to look at this is 102 divided by 12.8, which should still give 7.9.